Ryan Garcia. I had him on a couple times. He had his fight with Devon Haney. Good fight. When you watched the fight, were you saying something's going on? He looks different, or were you like, hey, he won the fight? What was your reaction?
No, I mean, I was representing Devin that night. I've never seen, like, I've known Ryan for a few years, and his behavior going into that fight just changed so drastically to the point of, 8 weeks out from the fight, the first press conference, I was talking to him, and I just turned to our guys. I went, what has happened to Ryan? Like, he was just flying, and the whole build-up, everything, like, his behavior was just, like, in my opinion, it was all the signs of someone who was having really a breakdown, to be quite honest with you, in some respect or some form. Fast forward to the fight, the weigh-in comes, he's overweight. He doesn't make the official weight, the contracted weight. Had to cut a new deal for the fight. Then the fight happens. He won the fight. I mean, great performance. Looked much bigger than Devin in the ring. Devin was very brave, but lost on points. And then a couple of weeks later, he fails his test from VADA, the drugs test, on the Friday and the Saturday of the fight. Then all of a sudden, everything changes. The guy has won, but he has performance-enhancing drugs in his system during the fight. That's unequivocal. That's, impossible to say he didn't. Then it sort of skirts back to, how did it get there, right? Every fighter would say, no, I didn't do anything. It's a tainted supplement. It's this, which can happen as well. Normally when a fighter fails a drugs test so close to the fight, because these guys were tested 8 weeks, like all the time, and he hadn't failed a test. Normally it would be something that someone's given him or he's taken to try and cut the weight for the weigh-in. That's my probably prediction, rather than him actually cheating intentionally for the fight. I think probably someone gave him something to cut weight and make weight because he couldn't make weight. I don't know. But what we do know is when he fought Devon Haney, he had performance-enhancing drugs in his system.
When you say that to the average person, and let me tell you how that comes across to me, and that's what I'm wondering. It's interesting you're saying this. The average fan who doesn't follow this, not the 5% of the community that's the super fan, the 95%, the average fan sits there and says, oh, this guy was on steroids and growth hormone. But no, that's not the case based on what you're saying. This could have been the fact. If you guys are 8 weeks out of your constantly testing, the idea of getting on growth hormone or steroids, it's not going to do anything for you if it's a week out or 2 weeks out. That's really a 12-week build out, and it's something like that, right?
The reality is no one really knows. Some will say, well, it's a masking, agent for something that he was doing. The reality is no one will ever know. Ryan's argument with, it was such a small amount that it had no physical benefit. And it's like, maybe that's the case, but it was still in your system.
So then let me ask you, would there be like the Houston Astros, I don't know if you follow baseball, Houston Astros won the World Series the couple years, 5 years ago, whatever the timeline was. And then stories comes out, when the guy hits the home run, he's like, guys, don't do anything because he's got stuff in his chest. It's like he didn't want to show wiring. They're like, these guys cheated. They got caught cheating. And Rob Manfred let them keep the World Series championship. Aaron Judge was pissed. The Dodgers, a bunch of people were pissed because they cheated. But then they came back and they won. What year? 2017 or something broken. So they won in 2017, 2018. What year did they win the World Series? 2017. Everyone's talking shit about these guys, right? Then they come back. And a few years later, Rob, if you can pull up, like when the next time the Houston Astros won the World Series, I think they won 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, 2022. So these guys said, couple guys left, but the main guys were there. One of the main guys was there, and they win again 5 years later. And it was the middle finger to everybody in baseball to say, to all of you guys who said we cheated, F you. We'll still beat you. And you can check whatever you want, right? Everybody's like, hey, you can't say shit about these guys. Now they won. So in this case, let's say that is the case. Okay. What if you guys go back and negotiate and double down on the, I think the world would want to see.
The rematch is huge.
Yeah.
And I think it will happen. I mean, there's a lot of bad blood.
Right.
Devin
Even
and his father
dad.
feels like,
Yeah.
you come in overweight, you had that in your system, and that's a dangerous sport. Like, if Ryan was intentionally cheating, like now you have this case that's running out. Have you
Now
seen
you're
it?
going criminal. Yeah.
Which is actually really interesting. Like, you know, contractually, obviously he's breached, but, you know, the argument, I guess, of the case is that he's physically harmed the opponent by breaching the agreement.
Has he gotten paid already or not yet? The fighter's gotten paid?
Yeah, they got paid, yeah.
They got paid.
But now he's suing Ryan Garcia, and it's actually quite an interesting case because it may really diffuse. I think one of the problems is Ryan got a year's ban, right? So actually, time you finished the fight, had your holiday, like you probably wouldn't fight for 6 months anyway. So it's really a 6-month ban. So how are you going to really, you know, make a fighter fearful of the consequences of testing positive?
How do you do that?
Well, maybe this case. You know, a lot of people have said that in the past about you have a case against the fighter. You know?
Has it ever happened? Do you remember that one guy that, you know, at the end of the fight, the dad's like, dude, this is not normal. And the dad comes and grabs the gloves and he says, hey, Margarita.
Yeah, he had loads stacked gloves, loaded gloves with like concrete on the wraps.
You're right. What happened to that guy?
I don't think there was anything, you know, there was no criminal case.
He didn't go to jail?
He got banned. No, he got banned.
Permanently banned?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah. By the
Permanently
commission.
banned?
A year to, I don't know
nothing,
the exact.
I mean, to do that, that's nothing. So, okay. So, I'm trying to see the lawsuit. So they have Haney and Haney on Ryan Garcia. I saw this. I'm just wondering what the lawsuit was and how much it is. I don't know why I think 30 million, but maybe
for battery, fraud, and breach of contract.
Okay, there it is. For battery, fraud, and breach of contract. Have they announced what the amount is, or is it just a general? So. Okay, so it's not. The star was suspended for 1 year and fined upwards of $1.2 million in the fight. And Haney would never have fought a boxer who was positive on PED. Got it. Haney was entitled to 47% of the event's profits. So they're coming back for that. Okay. Now, this is at the end of the fight, Rob, if you want to play the clip, and that's Ryan Garcia's dad. By the way, this was one of the most entertaining. I actually really enjoyed watching this fight. And then afterwards, we see this. I'm sure you obviously know what this is. Go ahead and play this clip, Rob. It's great for TV, by the way.
He was amazing. I thought, well done, well done. Oh, really? Fuck you.
Fuck you. Fuck you. You paid my son, you piece of shit.
What are you talking about?
You might, fuck you. You know you're a piece of shit. And that's what you get.
Really?
Now what are you going to say?
I'm going to say,
Luke Campbell and fucking Devon Haney, fuck you. Now who you got? Who do you got?
Jerron Ennis.
Who?
Jerron Ennis.
How about Pitbull?
You know he's good. Jerron Ennis is good.
They're all good.
Well done. Respect. It was a good performance. Well
Sorry.
I know you're emotional.
Man, sorry.
Listen, it's a sport. And when you win,
I know,
I give you all the respect in the world.
Okay, give Ryan the respect.
I just told him.
You did?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
This is how we
I'm
work.
sorry.
Don't worry. I respect you. I accept your apology.
Thank you.
No problem.
I accept your apology.
That was the last line, was the killer, you know.
It took you half a second to respond back, right off the bat, too. But, I mean, look, for me, obviously, they got to do what they got to do with the contract. Some people are like, well, he's doing that because they want to dodge the next fight. Some people are saying he's doing that to hold the guy accountable, Ryan Garcia. Whatever it is, if that's the claim and you put up a challenge for him to get back to the weight that he needs to, maybe double down on the weight to do the testing on them. But if that fight happens.
Big fight, yeah.
It's going to be.
Big fight. It will happen, I believe.
How soon do you think it'll happen?
I mean, look, he's going to be banned till what, May?
It's nothing.
So, you know, Devin needs to fight, really. You know, I said to him the other day, you know, that was a tough defeat physically. You could really do with a comeback fight of some respect, confidence, going through camp, you know, because that was a beating.
You think he needs a fight before he goes with Ryan?
So. I would advise it.
To fight somebody before.
Just because when you get beat like that, like, it's a long time out of the ring. You're talking about over a year out of the ring anyway. And, you know, Ryan's Ryan. I would guess Ryan, I haven't seen as much from him on social media lately, which is good news. But I think he's probably got a little bit of help, and, you know, I think hopefully he's on the right path now, because he's a good kid, actually. He's got a good heart. And then the build-up will be wild, you know. I mean, then we talk about narrative. I mean.
Are you kidding me?
You're going to think I'm crazy when I tell you this, but the last 13 and a half years, I've been working on my first fiction book to write, ever. Fiction book to write. And while I finished this book, a year ago, I got the strangest phone call about one of the characters in the book, where the guy wanted to meet with me, and he read the book. And afterwards is like, wait a minute, am I the villain in the book, this is a story about a character named Asher, who is half Armenian, half Assyrian, whose father was involved in the Iranian Revolution, linked to Savak, working with the Shah, that they escape and he gets recruited to a secret society. When you go to the secret society, it's been around for a couple thousand years. They've developed some of the craziest leaders of all time. And they test you. There's unique tests that they have at this society where they test to see your emotional mental toughness. One of the tests that they have is very rigorous. It's purely mental. Of course, there's a physical one, but one is mental and emotional. If you're Armenian, if you're Syrian, if you're Persian, this is a book you're going to be reading and saying, holy moly, this is the kind of stuff you talk about in here? Yes. If you're somebody that's fascinated by history, this is a book for you. Characters. There's a technology that this society, secret society, builds where you go into a vault. I won't spoil it for you. When you go down, they have a technology where you get to sit down and watch and have a 3-4 hour conversation with Tupac. You can set up a debate between Karl Marx and Ayn Rand. Karl Marx is in the book, who wrote Communist Manifesto. Ayn Rand, who wrote Atlas Shrugged, is in the book. Marilyn Monroe explains the concept of seduction and sex in the book. When you read the book, it's about development of the next leaders in the world and how they do it and how they've been doing it for many years. And it's also about how to prevent the end of civilization and how this organization goes about doing it. So, I've never written a parenting book before, but if I ever wrote a parenting book, this is the closest thing to it because it's all mindset, a lot of crazy stories. Again, 13 and a half years. Trust me, I told myself I will not publish this book until I sell my insurance company and I'm fully disconnected from it, where it's no longer my responsibility 100%. When you read this, if you're a creative person, if you like fiction books, if you enjoyed Atlas Shrugged, or if you enjoy Divergent, if you like books like that, I think you're gonna enjoy reading this book. It's the creative side. Business books is very easy. Here's how you do it. Here's how this how it works. This is very creative. If you haven't placed the order yet, now you can order it on Simon & Schuster, Amazon. I'm gonna put the link up below somewhere here, maybe even in my profile. Go order the book and read it. I've never written a book where I can't wait to read your reviews to see what you think about this book. So I'm going on this wild journey and we have some plans with this book here. If you support the things that I work on, I would appreciate you going and reading the book, order the book on Amazon, and then post a review. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.